this is going to talk about. Well, thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
I'm also very happy for helping you. I am Nina. I'm 18 years old. I want to study mechanical engineering. And one of my goals is to be one of the first people on Mars or moon of Jupiter and Saturn. I really got into space exploration when I was about 7. I read a book and I was fascinated with all the space facts and people going to space, etc. And that day my dream formed. I wanted to go to space too. And since then, I think I've been doing more and more things as I grow up. I started scuba diving. I pursued the science field at my school. And yes, generally that's all.
So you said one of your goals is to be the first person on Mars or one of the moons of Jupiter or Saturn.
Yes, it depends actually on when and if I am selected at that time.
How long have you considered this as one of your goals?
It first was a dream. I was when I was younger, I just dreamed about going to space, and growing up, I started realizing that dreams can become goals and one day become a reality too. So I think I was about 14 when I started thinking about it more seriously and thought about some career paths I could follow to bring this closer to reality.
So that's a good point. What do you see as being the path of actually making that happen?
So far, to become an astronaut, you need to be a scientist or engineer. So I started searching what I liked the most. And I liked mechanics. I liked mathematics and physics or robotics. So I decided on engineering. And yes, that's the first step if you want to become an astronaut. So I started from there and then asked around people who are in the space industry, sent emails, and asked exactly what other skills I have to have at my resume. So I started scuba diving. I started learning more languages. So yes, generally things which will help me turn in the future as well.
Now, about Mars, what do you imagine the trip to Mars would be like? Like, what that experience, how long would it take? You know, what would you experience along the way? What are your thoughts?
The trip to Mars is actually, it takes some time. It takes about 6 months from with the technology we have so far. So I guess it would be a nice. I would have some nice time to spend with my crewmates, learn more about them, prepare for the mission, and I think those feelings would be unique because you're out there in the cosmos, away from the Earth, and it's something not many people can experience. So it would be a privilege, I think. It would take time. So the whole mission would be about 2 years from what we know so far.
So on the way to Mars, so I think like the shortest time in Mars using our current technology is about 6 months, if I'm not wrong. And so you would spend that time learning about your shipmates and training for the mission ahead. What do you think would be the most challenging part of that 6 months?
I think living in a contained space with people would be challenging sometimes because it would be probably a small space, so 5 or 6 people, how many will be on the crew, and we won't fight, but there are sometimes you will need more privacy or talk to your family, and I think it will be kind of crowded in the station. So yes, I think that will be kind of challenging, but you get used to it. So as we have seen from people who go to analog space missions, it is possible, even though it's challenging.
And on Mars itself, well, what do you think that experience would be like? Like actually living on Mars?
I think it would be amazing to take the first steps on another planet and actually be one of the people who can bring space exploration closer to us. So Mars has about 1/3 of the Earth gravity, so it would be nice to just run around and see how it feels like jumping around and being almost not weightless, but close to it.
Is other than putting the first steps and running around, is there anything that you'd want to do on Mars that you've been thinking about?
Something particular? I don't think so, but generally help support all the research that the scientists will do, and as an engineer, maintain the spaceship, the rocket, and everything, and have everything under control in any case. I want to have balance on the trip, so I want to provide that for my team.
And would you imagine yourself staying on Mars permanently at that point, or would you plan on coming back?
Um, I would prefer to come back, and most missions are all the plans to go to Mars are usually a return trip. So all people are thinking about getting astronauts back on Earth. But if it was for me to go there and stay there, I think I would consider it, and I would need some time to spend with my family and explain to them that I won't come back and so on. But I think I could do it.
Okay, so let's say you did come back. Whenever you got back, what do you think it would be like? How would it change your life?
I think coming back from space would be. I would be excited to see to walk on the Earth again, because sometimes we live on this planet and we don't realize the the miracles around us. It's life and all the things happening on this planet. I think are all miracles, and we live our lives and we ignore all those things. And coming back from space, especially from another planet, would be I would be surprised to see that the planet I have lived on has so many amazing things to look on and just wonder, wow. Yes, I think that's most.
Um, well, let's see. You said you got interest in space from a young child when you were a young child. Was there somebody in your life that was key in introducing you to space, or some event or something that got you started?
Um, on my 7th birthday, my dad got me a book about space exploration, and I just read it and read about things I didn't know before, like that people walked on the moon, that about the space station and satellites, and I was so happy that people could go over the atmosphere and just explore what's out there. And my father, I think, was kind of key to this my space enthusiasm, because he's a chemical engineer. He doesn't really have immediate work that is really based on space exploration, but he really likes all people going to to the space station. And so he told me, up there there's no gravity, and they just kind of they can throw things around freely. And I was like, really? And he showed me some videos of the space station where I was so fascinating. And he said, Dad, I want to go up there one day. And he was like, okay, I will be with you in every step. And so was my whole family. But my dad was kind of more like the one who leaded me there mostly.
That's awesome. What does he think about your space dreams now?
He's very supportive. He he's there in everything I need to take the steps to become an astronaut and get all those skills. he takes me to scuba diving lessons or robotics lessons in the past. He's always there. He supports me in every step, in every success, and every failure, and I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. You have an awesome dad.
Thanks.
So NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon since the first time since 1972. When did you find out about this?
When? He said. About last year, I think. I started looking more about when we're going back to the moon, and I found out that it's going to be, 2024. And yes, and I was so excited that we can go back to the moon. So,
How did you find out? I mean, you looked for it, I guess, maybe a news site or NASA site or someplace.
I'm not sure. I just scrolled on the internet, surfed on the internet, and I think I asked Google when are we going back to the moon or something like that, because I usually ask such things in Google. I'm curious about missions and stuff.
Now, your family and friends, what percentage of them do you think know that we're going back to the moon?
I think with me and the family, I'm just like a space nerd, so I always tell them, we're going back to the moon. So I think most of them know so far.
Um, how about your classmates? What percentage of them do you think know we're going to the moon?
Uh, I don't know, really. The classmates I hang out with, they all know, of course. Uh, but from the others, I'm not sure. I guess half of them. I don't really know, but I think they might have heard at least half of them.
Yeah, I think people in school probably have a better chance than people out of school, just because of
Yeah.
the nature of the thing. But um, my experience of asking people drinking coffee at Starbucks or fishing at the park or taking a smoke break is about 20% of them know. So
Oh, yes.
it's kind of interesting. That's even in Houston, next to the Johnson Space Center. So,
Mhm. So
uh,
yes. It's sad they don't know.
Hey, so when you're talking to people about us going back to the moon and they're like, "Oh, why are we doing it?" Do you have like a favorite answer you like to give to them?
Yes, I always tell them that it might seem just useless to explore space and give money to missions and research, but all these research results come back to Earth and they help people on Earth overcome illnesses, or we have some amazing technologies which originated in space exploration missions. And so I think that it's worth it. I always tell them that it's really worth it for me.
Plus, just a sense of exploring and expanding humanity's presence beyond.
Mhm.
When you think about the future of humanity, thinking out 200 years or so, what does it look like to you?
Um, I can imagine that we will have colonized the moon and Mars, maybe also terraform Mars. I think uh, with the current technologies, it would take about 200 or 300 years, but I think we will be on the way by then. Um, it's a little bit optimistic, but also kind of realistic as well. And I think we will have sent people outside the solar system to explore, maybe take a trip some kilometers away and just come back. But it will take a lot of years. So I guess we will have explored more. We will also have more treatments to illnesses, more things that help us on Earth and on every planet we live on. Generally, life will be better and we will live in better conditions, maybe less poor people. I imagine that. I really want this to happen. And I'm actually sad that I won't be around to see all this change.
Yeah. Hmm. Oh, why don't you think you'll be around?
It's 200 years from now. I don't think I will live so long.
But medical technology is also improving.
I might live. I don't know, but I think I won't. Anyways, I hope this happens whether I'm here or not.
Um, is there anything that you think you could do to make it more likely to happen?
Me personally, I don't know. So far, I'm just a student, but in the future, I hope I will invent something really useful. We'll see.
I know that you would take a trip to space.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true with your family and friends? Are they of interest like you?
Most of them, they're not as much as me. And I know some of them might be afraid because they know the risks of space flight and so on. But I've told them all that it's something greater than us. It's something that it might be dangerous. I might die up there, but I don't really care about it because I will have helped people down here. So like they're like terrified sometimes, but I calm them down. I think they're used to it so far more and more.
Um, Whenever you look at all the space agencies and space companies and all the different projects and everything that's going on right now, is there any particular project or something that particularly excites you?
I love the James Webb Telescope, which launched last year. I'm really excited about this because we get to learn more things about the cosmos and about what we're going to deal with in the next centuries. Also, the Artemis missions, of course. I'm really excited about them. Uh, I liked the rover, the Perseverance landing. I watched it live and I was so excited. So generally, I think those are my three favorites.
Well, Nina, those are the questions I had for you. But is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Or did you have any questions for me?
Um, I think I would like to ask you how you see the world in 200 years. I'd like to hear that too.
200 years. Yeah, there's like two versions of that question. One is, what if you just looked at the trends that we have and how those trends develop and those trends develop, and where were we likely to end up? Like what's the probability, projection, if you will. And then you have the other version of that, which is where I really want us to end up, type of thing. So probability projection, I would say we do have people living on Mars and on Earth and on the moon, and we may have other people living in other places in the solar system. I think life in these places is very, very different. I was not entirely sure if we're still all in contact with each other. Um, I think one of the drivers of people going to space maybe because um, people feel the dangers of space are less than the dangers of Earth, which is always a scary thing. Like nuclear war, pandemic, um, economic and geopolitical issues. That was a big driver, I think, for people from Europe to come over to North America was not because North America looks so great, but they're like, anything has to be better than this type of thing in Europe at the time. So there's that. But the way I would like for it to kind of turn out, I really like what Jeff Bezos talks about trying to take all those Earth harming activities and moving them into space, and then having Earth more of a place for a life and for humans and stuff, and then maybe give the Earth a chance to regenerate largely. I mean, we do so much damage to Earth for like energy production. But if you look at how much energy is produced by the sun and how little of it actually falls on the earth, we almost have infinite amount of energy available from the sun. We just have to figure out how to harvest it. So I think in 200 years, we would be getting, you know, 99% of our energy from in orbit platforms that are orbiting around the sun, harnessing that energy. And I see us moving like all mining and heavy industry off of the earth. And I want to see humans developing big kind of artificial platforms to live in. And then eventually being able to have these last for hundreds of years without any additional resources, and then start sending them off to other star systems. And then, maybe in 400, 500, 600 years, we have humans around other stars, and we see the beginning of sort of life from Earth propagating throughout the galaxy. So that's where I would like to see us.
It's very optimistic, but I hope it turns out this way.
Well, we need people like you to make it happen. So. Well, thank you so much, and good luck on your journey. I hope to stay in touch, and I hope um, I know you can achieve your goals. So it'd be really, really good to see you take those steps.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Well, bye for now, and have a good rest of your day.
Bye. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.